The remaining 20% going back into the market, perhaps you use that 20% to purchase more XRP. Your passive income would increase each month as a result. You will eventually be on your way to being a billionaire. Additionally, XRP would reach even higher price points along the road, increasing the value of your initial investment. That's the way to go. Furthermore, it makes no difference how much XRP you own. Your strategy is more important. An expert outlines what to do if XRP soars to $100, 0 cents, creating billionaires. This is the strategy. So before the market changes, determine your freedom number. The Pantoja wealth building framework is the source of this. Determining what he refers to as the freedom number is the first and most important step. This is the total yearly revenue required to support one's desired lifestyle comfortably. It includes everything from vacation, personal objectives, and future aspirations to basic housing and living expenses. Once your monthly payment has been established, multiply it by 12 to get the annual amount. You've all worked that out by now. He's suggested doubling the amount as a safety precaution against unforeseen circumstances, emergencies, or the rising expense of living, not as a luxury. Build lasting riches by consistently adhering to your principles. Retain your principle. Profiting is quite okay as long as you retain your original bag. After making sizable gains, he emphasized the significance of keeping the initial investment and capital intact. Building a portfolio that produces steady, recurring income from sources like interest and dividends should be the main goal instead. Real estate is not what staking rewards are. Passive. And once that is decided and regulated, case bar the doors. I believe he is completely mistaken. He added that digital payment methods have the potential. Payments will not be made with Bitcoin. It is not scalable. It's far too slow and far too costly. Bitcoin won't matter. Once XRP is regularly transferring funds between banks, between nations, and between tokenized assets, Bitcoin won't even be relevant anymore. You see, the majority of Bitcoin holders are huge bag holders or billionaire bag holders, and all they do is search for additional retail investors to enter this market every 4 years in order to utilize them as exit liquidity, and they repeatedly do so. However, the same utility that will determine XRP's price is what will alter the 4-year cycle. I felt this comparison, which is taken from Black Swan Capitalist, was excellent. People ask why they should use XRP when there is RLSD. The train is XRP. RLUSD transports the goods, while Ripple Net creates the railroads. RLUSD is one tool created on top of the XRP ledger, which serves as the foundation. The train has already departed the station, as former Treasury Secretary Rosie Rios stated. The train is being held by you. What will cause the value to change is in your possession. It makes no difference if it's currency, RLUSD, tokenized assets, or CBDC. The train is always going to be XRP. BRICS and Ripple News are preparing a financial system backed by gold using XRP. This is still only a rumor. Since XRP is the greatest available option, I believe the BRICS will use it. Furthermore, they are basing their system on the Enbridge BIS project, which was constructed in a similar manner as XRP and Ripple Net. Therefore, they have previously tested their payment system using XRP and Ripple Net. Half as wide as BRICS wish to abandon the dollar system. The US's capacity to freeze its reserves worries Russia. China is concerned about losing its financial independence, particularly given its expanding international influence. With an emphasis on leveraging their financial system, South Africa and Brazil and India also aim for financial independence. BRICS' first priority is leveling the playing ground. The level playing field is provided by XRP. Bitcoin is very erratic and too costly. Ethereum is congested. XRP provides a quick and affordable solution designed especially for institutional use. The notion suggests that BRICS might produce its own gold-backed digital money. XRP would act as a bridge to swiftly settle trade. Since these BRICS nations don't fully trust one another, it would function as a layer of trust between them. XRP would be ideal for that use case. Additionally, the fact that they use Project Enbridge indicates that BRICS will probably adopt XRP in the future. How does the petrodollar fare? Here Jim Rickards discusses it. Listen to it. They are cracks, but you're right. That's the point though. For this reason, petrodollar Accord 2 is long overdue. Let's return to our starting point. And that's one of the reasons the president is meeting with NBS in Saudi Arabia. Yes, Steve, you are correct, but the Saudis' oil purchases in Chinese yuan are extremely small in comparison to the market as a whole. And the yuan is not what they desire. With the yuan, what will you do? You know, when you purchase certain Chinese main products, you discover that they don't really need that many. However, this is how the Saudis and the Emirates are telling the US that they need to return to being our friends, providing us with a safety net and keeping the currency strong. Then, as I mentioned, that's why I refer to it as petrodollar 2. Yes, it needs to be refreshed. By the way, it was a document that was classified at the time and was never a treaty. Don't assume that it hasn't been made public. However, people can trust Trump with just a solid handshake. A treaty is not necessary. But he's there in part for that reason, with the notion that this is merely a business trip or something similar. Yes, but everything is based on dollars. That's the problem. As a result, Saudi Arabia will continue to export oil to China, but they will insist that payment be made in US dollars because they don't know how to obtain dollars. That puts pressure on the Chinese. They export goods to the US market. What tariffs apply? 2 days earlier, they were 150%. For the next 90 days, they might be 30%. But that's all. The Russians are involved in this extremely complicated game. However, by cementing its ties with Saudi Arabia and pushing it toward petrodollar 2, the United States puts pressure on China to essentially lower its tariffs and comply with some of Trump's demands. If not, they lack a source of funding. And it's on the horizon. The petrodollar 2, in my opinion, is the next digital currency. For example, the digital dollar might be the RLUSD. The digital dollar may be USDC. 2 digital dollars are yours. The direction of all of this is still a mystery to us. Perhaps, however, this halts the de-dollarization. However, I continue to believe that BRX will seek to create a level playing field. XRP will be a wonderful fit in such situation. However, it's clear where this is all headed. The Trojan horse for the US dollar's hegemony is stablecoins. Smoke is the source of this. The US doesn't. You have to coerce other countries while its currency is steady. Rather, native cryptocurrency banking systems naturally expand the dollar's market share. This is the strategy. Adopt stable currencies, regulate them to maintain their conformity to US law, and then let the free market handle the rest. It makes perfect sense. Additionally, RLUSD would make the US dollar stronger. It might shift. It could quickly change the value of the dollar globally. However, it makes no difference if you introduce XRP as the bridge currency and the layer of confidence between the US and the UK, the EU and the BRICS nations. XRP will always function similarly to the trust layer. This is the way to make the dollar stronger going forward. And it makes sense to me why Trump met with Ripple. Blockchain, city, money. What exactly does JP Morgan Chase do? That blockchain DeFi cannot do more effectively, more affordably, or more transparently. This led to the development of this concept and ultimately my foray into the cryptocurrency space. Many issues will be resolved, in my opinion. This nation's SWIFT system is completely dysfunctional. Every week at 4 on a Friday afternoon, I'm either trying to send out a wire transfer or waiting for one to arrive. It is sluggish and erratic and lacks coherence. You examine the capabilities of digital currency. See what can be done with digital currency that is backed by the US dollar and US treasuries and that can be delivered instantly around the clock every day of the week. It will transform the financial industry. We are thrilled to be leading the way. He just described what he did with XRP. He's right too. The banks could be destroyed. Cryptocurrency. However, I believe that the banks will embrace cryptocurrency now. They have no other option. It's becoming popular. It's being adopted all around. And because they need to innovate, these banks will just shut down one after another if they don't embrace cryptocurrency or don't advance it. And the customer desires this. They want payments in real time. His disdain with SWIFT is evident, and it's the same with all 11,000 of their consumers. Even if it's a holiday weekend, people are tired of waiting for 2 or 3 days. You now have to wait 4 days for your money to arrive in the country or for it to arrive on the other end. For this reason, SWIFT will be replaced with Ripple. Only a matter of time will pass. The future is in your hands. I emphasize that. As you may recall, I discussed the process of becoming